The Browns are back in Indianapolis to take on the Colts, and so is Deshaun Watson. Is that good news for the Browns? And it's by Mageddon across the fantasy football world. We got you covered right now on the Sick Podcast with Andy McNamara.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast with Andy McNamara. The sickest Cleveland Browns podcast.
Chubb runs, he's to the 10, 15, he's to the 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. There goes Chubb, he's to the 30, 20, 10, 5, touchdown, Chubba Lubba Hub.
It's gonna be sick.
All right, everybody, we're back, we're ready. We're in Indianapolis for the Browns taking on the Colts. And this is a tricky one today because all week it looked like probably not Deshaun Watson, and now he practiced late in the week, and now he's going to be back. Probably. Pre-game workouts again. It seems all a bit too much. Welcome to the show, everybody. We'll get to a ton of fantasy football talk here. 6 teams on bye. It's buy 'em again. What do? We got you covered. Make sure you leave your questions in the comment section. Get us on Twitter at AndyMC81, at SNS Ali. My buddy Show Ali will be joining me in just a couple minutes. And the show at SickPodBrowns, Instagram and TikTok at AndyMC Sports. Use hashtag AskAndy. We'll get to our dangerous danger zone best bets of the week also. That'll be a little bit later on. But for this Browns team, came off, of course, that glorious victory over the 49ers. I'm still riding high off of that. But yeah, hopefully the Browns aren't. Because how many times, friends, how many times have we seen the Browns in the past, and I hope this isn't those same old Browns, that feeling of, wow, we had a great win. Everyone believes their hype, and then they come crashing down. I'm a little concerned that the defense is referring to itself as the best in the world. Kind of feels like a little pro wrestling-ish, which is fine by me most times, but boy, man, you claim that, and you really put that target on your back, right? So let's chill. You did beat the 49ers, arguably the best team in the league. And all right, now what do we do with the Colts and the poor man's Baker Mayfield, Gardner Minshew under center? But you do have Jonathan Taylor and Zach Moss in that backfield, so it's going to be some smash mouth. Gardner Minshew can beat you. Let's make no mistake about it. That guy doesn't care. He'll light you up and he'll throw 3 interceptions and he'll keep going at you. So you got to force him to throw the ball and stymie the run. That's the key to me in this game. And the other, of course, huge question mark, what do we do with Deshaun Watson? I got a lot of fantasy questions on it. I would really try to avoid playing Deshaun Watson in fantasy this week. He's back. The last time we saw him, he had that great win when I was down there in person against the Titans. Looked great, but that's when he had that micro tear, which was a strain, which was a bruise. So what is it? PJ Walker's up. He's going to be back. Looks like Joe Bitonio is going to play. Looks like Njoku's going to play. So health-wise, looking pretty good. Anthony Walker, linebacker, back from concussion protocol. But for Deshaun Watson, what does it look like? Does he finish the game? What if he gets hit? How does that work? And are we going to see the growth of Deshaun Watson after that Tennessee game, which looks like he finally started to hit his stride? Or are we going to have more rust? More rust to knock off. I'm tired of the rust. Sick of the rust. More rust than the Tin Man. Enough. Okay, get the oil, sprinkle it all over him. Let's get going here with Deshaun Watson. What are we going to see? I would have rather them just repped up PJ Walker, let Deshaun get a full week of extra practice and rest, and go hard for Seattle. Doesn't look like that's going to be the case. What are your Browns predictions? Give me your predictions. Give me your scores. Leave it in the comment section, and we'll get rolling. We got Rick in the house. T-Wolf, how's it going, brother? T-Wolf in the house. Yes. How's it going? All right, we got some questions in already. We'll get to those in hashtag Ask Andy. Get those questions and click notifications. Share the show. Always love that. Give us a share. Put on your social media. We always love more conversation there. And get us on social media, Twitter at AndyMC81, at SickPodBrowns, and at SNS Ali. And speaking of SNS Ali, here's Show Ali, my guy from Sportsnet, coming in there. There he is. How's it going, Show? I think you're on mute, brother. Show, I think you're on mute there, or I don't know if the producers got it. Let's see. Do we got? Let's see. I can't hear Show. Show, you can hear me, but I can't hear you. Let's see. Okay, we'll try to jump back in there with show. No problem. Like I said, 6 teams on bye. There is a lot of questions for obvious reasons, because the people we're missing this week, guys, right? The Bengals out, Cowboys, Titans, Jets, Panthers, Texans. Who would have thought the Texans would have been that good with C.J. Stroud? By the way, big win by the Buckeyes yesterday, baby. How about it? C.J. Stroud was in the house. Kyle McCord, I don't know. But we'll get to that. As we look to get show back in here, remember, get those questions in. I'll pull some more up as well. There we go. Hey, show. Oh, still can't hear you. Let's see. Show? That's weird. Huh. No, I can't hear show. I think you can hear me. Okay. We'll try to keep working on that. Hopefully get show in and the audio clicking here. I got it up on my end. Okay. All right. So let's start cruising through this Browns-Colts game then. Okay. Now, we're not playing Gardner Minshew. I know we're in trouble quarterback-wise, fantasy football-wise. We're not playing Gardner. He's averaging like 13, 14 fantasy points. Real life-wise, like I said, he can beat you. He can beat you. But outside of that, if you have to play a wide receiver, you're going to play your Michael Pittman. Downgrade expectations. I do like that Josh Downs. Who was added as a secondary option. DFS play, maybe a little DraftKings contrarian pick. Gardner Minshew found him again last week and they have that bit of a connection. So 4 to 5 to 6 receptions a game for Josh Downs might not be an add little desperation flex play. Get him in there. But I think the Browns defense is going to be all over him. But they better make sure they're all over the run. And this is where I think you might be able to have the rare case where you can have both Jonathan Taylor and Zach Moss play. I think you can start both of them. Moss in the flex, Taylor to start. Third game back for Taylor. The rest is going to be off, and they're going to be leaning on him heavily. For the Browns, Kareem Hunt going to be a game-time decision. They elevated Deion Jackson signed him and then elevated from the practice squad. This should be a big day for Jerome Ford. Should be a big day. You have the Colts missing several key pieces on defense on their linebacker core, unheralded but always strong, missing a pass rusher. The cornerbacks can be exploited, young rookie quarterbacks. So if Deshaun Watson's shoulder holds up, Amari Cooper, light him up. David Njoku, I hope they continue to use more, reward him for playing with his skin fried off. Right? Like, can we reward the guy, please? Can we get the ball to David Njoku? Can we get the man a touchdown? But Jerome Ford, big day. So my fantasy plays for that game are Jerome Ford, Amari Cooper, David Njoku, and for the Colts, it's Jonathan Taylor and Zach Moss. You're probably gonna have to play Pittman and Downs, but just be aware of that. We'll get to your questions in there. Hey, Joseph's in the house. All right, Joseph. I got your question in here, my man. We will get to you in a little bit. I'll run through some games. We'll get some updates here, and then we'll get to the questions and hashtag Ask Andy. You can do that on social media as well at AndyMC81, at SickPodBrowns, hashtag Ask Andy. Now, we have some quarterback updates here. And what we're looking at is not that you were going to be super excited about playing Daniel Jones and that Giants game. Oh, my gosh. How did the Giants get like 18 primetime games? Disgusting. Okay, QB updates. Deshaun Watson, like I said, is in. Justin Fields for the Bears out 2 to 3 weeks. That game is going to suck. There are some bad games this week. Like entertainment-wise, you better have a fantasy or a betting option in there because it's bad. All right? Justin Fields out 2 to 3 weeks. So Bajent is in. His claim to fame, his dad's a world champion arm wrestler. That's kind of cool. Ryan Tannehill likely out next week. He's on bye, but out next week to keep that in mind. Daniel Jones out today with that neck. Jimmy G out, could return next week also. So we look at this Raiders-Bears game should be flexed to Monday at 3 a.m. You're going to have Aiden O'Connell or Brian Hoyer versus Bajent, Tyler Bagent. I just want to make sure it doesn't. The fantasy options are, it kills it for both those teams. It really does. Just to make sure. Tyson Bagent. My mistake. Tyson Bagent. Who cares? For the Bears, you know what? The Bears game here, let's start there. Roschon Johnson out. Travis Homer and Darrington Evans activated. Donta Foreman should have the bulk, but those guys can be sprinkled in. So let's not get too excited. But Donta Foreman is a nice add. He has done it in the past with Houston, I believe with the Titans also in some spare work. So you think you should be leaning on him, and Travis Homer and Evans should cancel each other out in the passing game. So I would do Donta Foreman. You have to play DJ Moore, but again, you're significant downgrade if you don't have other options. But DJ Moore in there. And for the Raiders, if he's not Josh, like again, Devontae Adams with 6 teams off. Are you not playing Devontae Adams? You're probably playing Devontae Adams. But you're going to Brian Hoyer. Teabag. Yeah, Rick. Tyson Bagent. That's right. Yeah. Old Tyson Bagent. Who cares? Yeah, his dad's a world champion. 28-time apparently champion arm wrestler. So good. That's fun, I guess. Right? That game really sucks. We can just blow through that one. Yeah, for the Raiders, Josh Jacobs, again, should be with Brian Hoyer at this stage in his career. Should be a nice game for Josh Jacobs. Devontae Adams, you're going to have to play. That game's terrible. The other one that we can just pretty much clam up on is the Giants Commanders. Oh, Daniel Jones out, Tyrod Taylor in. Everybody's unplayable unless it's Saquon Barkley. And I just want to check on the health of Saquon here, folks. Let's make sure we get that. Okay, it looks like no injury designation. You never know with old Saquon. The ankle was removed from the injury report Friday, so he should be good. So it's Saquon Barkley. That's it. That's it for the Giants. That's all. Sam Howell. I actually am kind of a little bit bullish on Sam Howell here and the Commanders because the Giants are god-awful, and the Commanders have shown that they can pop a little bit. And I'll work that into my dangerous best bet of the week, my danger zone pick, a little bit later with a in-game parlay a little bit later on. But I think the Commanders have a lot going on here. Let's see if Show's in the house. I think we might try to get him by phone. You can bring him in whenever if Show's available. Get our buddy Show Ali in here. But yeah, Commanders, Giants, just Barkley, Commanders, you got Sam Howell, Terry McLaurin, maybe Logan Thomas too. Logan Thomas had a nice little game. Get Bijan cooking, right? That's not too bad. Some other injury updates. This is going to be an important one, and we'll swing back to it. For the 49ers, Deebo Samuel out, hairline fracture, gone at least 2 weeks, then the bye. So you're going to have to make concessions for Deebo Samuel. Then we're going to have Christian McCaffrey game time decision. The problem there is that's Monday Night Football. That's the issue. We got Monday Night Football. We're still having some audio issues with Show Ali. So hopefully Show, if he gets, maybe have him, Sammy, call in just on the phone, like do cell phone. I don't know if that works. Just have him call in and pop his avatar up to talk to Show. Maybe give that a little try. That might work. Yeah, let's get a little Baker in there. You see Baker in the corner? There's old Bake. There he is. Okay. Yeah, keep trying with him, Sammy. See if we can get Show in there. Otherwise, we'll cook a little bit. And we'll get to your questions shortly on the show here. We got Rick, we got Joseph, we got Derek, we got Benoit on Twitter, we got Instagram cooking too. So make sure to click notifications. Give us a like. We always like that. Give us a like. Give us a share. Let's have some fun today. The other side too, if you're looking at, and this one sucks. If you raced to the waiver wire, and I warned it on Tuesday's show, if you have to add, fine, but don't get too excited about the Rams' backup running back situation with Kyren Williams, who's been put on injured reserve, along with Ronnie Rivers. Again, who cares about Ronnie Rivers? But Kyren Williams is expected back like week 12 now. Okay. What happened is everyone went out and got Zach Evans. Now you had also Royce Freeman elevated, but also they signed Darrell Henderson. Used to be with the Rams and Sean McVay. And now you have Evans listed as the backup behind Freeman. This is going to be a three-headed monster mess. I want no part of those running backs. I really don't. Like I would try everything possible to try not to have to play a running back on the Rams this week. Especially you're hosting the Steelers. We know that run defense. It's just going to be a full-blown committee. Rams 3-point favorites there. And you have, the Steelers in town. That's a 4:05 game as well. I don't want anything to do with that. I do like, you know what? If you're in a pinch and Jalen Warren's floating around, he's outproduced Najee Harris most of this season. Najee Harris has been bad. So Jalen Warren would be a lesser-owned option for you. So maybe give Jalen Warren a chance if he's sitting there on your waiver wire. I also want to get from you guys your dangerous picks of the week. I wanted to enter the danger zone with you people. Okay, let's get dangerous today. I want some crazy parlays. What are you betting? Okay, let me know. What are you betting in addition to your fantasy football questions? You got some long leg, triple leg parlay, something. You got something nuts going on. I want to hear your dangerous best bets, your danger zone picks of the week. AndyMC81 on Twitter, at SickPodBrowns, Instagram, at AndyMCSports. And Sammy and the guys still working on getting the show. We believe in you, show. We can get you there. Come on, brother. We'll get you cooking. And you can get us in there on social and in the chat. All right, let's keep clicking on a couple games, then we'll get to your questions. So that Raiders-Browns game, barf. Bills-Patriots. Now, this is something, if I look at it from a betting angle for a moment, over-under set at 40. It's in New England. Buffalo 7.5-point favorites. Buffalo started the week at 8.5 or 9-point favorites, depending on your sports book. With us, of course, it's our buddies at DraftKings Sportsbook. Now it's at 7.5. Bills are going to win that game. Patriots stink. But we know Belichick plays the Bills tough. It is a division game. I would take the Pats to cover that 7.5. Like, it wouldn't surprise. And remember, the Bills just squeaked by the Giants last week. And the Giants are worse than the Patriots. Okay? So I would take the Patriots to cover that. You know, Bills might win by 6. You know, it wouldn't surprise me if it was a bit closer than that. So I think there's some money to be made for the Patriots to cover as a home dog with Buffalo as 7.5-point favorites. Now, when we look for the Bills there, usual suspects. Josh Allen, obviously. Stephon Diggs, obviously. Gabe Davis, I'm feeling more and more comfortable with. And James Cook. James Cook again in here, because especially now, if it goes the other way and the Bills do jump up, James Cook should get some extra work there. So those are the 4. For the Patriots, like, do you want anybody? Do you want anybody on the Patriots? I had, in one of my leagues, we're talking about Buy-Mageddon this week. 6 teams on bye. Guys, one of my leagues, absolute disaster when it comes to running backs, okay? Ramondre Stevenson looked like he was unhealthy. Now the injury designation is cleared. I had to add Zeke Elliott. That was my best waiver wire option. I have to play Ezekiel Elliott. It's projected to get me like 6.5 fantasy points. That's where I'm at. Anyone else have to play Zeke or anybody on the Patriots? I would avoid the Patriots altogether. Just altogether. Let's go Falcons, Buccaneers. So just like I predicted, unfortunately for our buddy Baker, big expectations riding high, going on all the college shows. You're 3-1 coming out of the bye, and boom, you fall to the Lions. No touchdowns, 1 interceptions. Then the thing with Baker is when the expectations are high, he usually crashes, but after a bad game, usually comes back with a stud game, and you're playing the Falcons, who are probably the fakest 3-3 I've seen. Like, nothing special about this team, but they're 3-3 in a bad division. So if you're the Buccaneers, you got to win this game. I think Baker does it. I think he does it in a nice big way. I have a Baker in-game parlay as well that I'll share at the end of the show that I think makes a lot of sense. Fantasy-wise, for the Bucs, yeah, do we want to play Baker? I'd rather you didn't, but if you have to, again, with, I'd rather him over Tyson Bagent and Tyrod Taylor. less than Sam Howell, and less than Desmond Ridder. I know Desmond Ridder, real life wise, well, he's not good. But again, in my 2 QB league, what I had to do was I have Daniel Jones, and he's been terrible, but I'm not playing Tyrod Taylor. Don't look now, but fantasy-wise only, Desmond Ridder last 2 weeks, last week 19.08 fantasy points. That's with throwing 3 interceptions and 2 touchdowns. Went for over 300 passing yards, ran for 18 as well. Week before that, 26.16 fantasy points, 1 touchdown, ran 1 in as well, and popped over 22 fantasy points earlier this year. So that's 3 games with 19 or more fantasy points for Desmond Ridder, 2 of which came in back-to-back weeks. Bucs defense, good, not great. You can get him, right? I see Show in the studio. If you can bring him in, Sammy, bring him in anytime. If he's not, hopefully we can get our buddy Show in there. But Desmond Ridder is a great spot and probably my favorite ad of the week, okay? When it comes to waiver wire, fantasy pickup, someone I brought up on Tuesday's show for the Falcons, and I didn't think we'd be saying this. Not Kyle Pitts, Jonnu Smith. Jonnu Smith played for the Patriots. Who was he before that? Was he with Tennessee before? Might have been with Tennessee before. In any case, should have been an afterthought in this offense, right? Kyle Pitts is the guy. Drake London. Nope. It's Jonnu Smith. Jonnu Smith at Tampa Bay. Here's why. And if he's available and you need a flex, tight end, you're in trouble, get Jonnu Smith now, okay? Leave the show on, but go to get Jonnu Smith. Here's why. Very quietly, 3 consecutive weeks of double-digit fantasy points in PPR. 15.5, 13.7, 14.6. Receptions of 6, 6, and 4. And only last game included a touchdown. And why is that important? That's important because it's not like a Donald Parham Jr. for the Chargers who 2 catches and gets 2 touchdowns, for example. He did it by just getting 1 touchdown out of those 3 games I mentioned. So you're telling me I can get double-digit fantasy points for a guy who earlier in the week was available in 80% of most leagues, who's giving me double digits and into the teens, and he's not relying on touchdowns. That's a tremendous ad. I would get Jonnu Smith. That's my hottest. I think Jonnu Smith could have. And by great game, if you're getting a guy in a 6-team bye week that even hits 10 points, that's a great week. That's a great pickup. It's a tremendous pickup. Looks like we're still having audio issues with our guy's show. Hoping we can get him cooking. We'll get to your questions momentarily, gentlemen. Rick Joseph. Falcons have scored under 20 points in... Oh, there's a heart underneath that. Let me see here. In road game. Oh, in 8 straight games, all losses on the road. Yeah, it's under 20 points. It's not surprising, but when we're looking at the fantasy point side, you got Ridder. Like, he can throw up a bunch of yards, garbage time. Jonnu Smith's been, like I said, he's been good. And we'll get to, I'll do one more game here, then let's pop up the questions. We'll go to Ask Andy in a moment there, Sammy. Went over the Commanders-Giants game. What a barf fest that is. Falcons, Bucks, Lions, Ravens. Okay. Be getting a lot of Jahmyr Gibbs questions in. David Montgomery out. Gibbs hamstring coming back. And I want to believe, and I think it's safe to say, that Dan Campbell of the Lions head coach is a straight shooter. He's not like a Belichick or a Kyle Shanahan or a Sean McVay who's looking to ruin your fantasy. Sean Payton, looking in the past, who's looking to ruin your fantasy team and deceive. I believe when Dan Campbell says something, it's probably like, it's just a straight shooter. He said, look, we don't want to give Jahmyr Gibbs a full workload, but we're going to have to. That sounds great to me. I have Jahmyr Gibbs on one of my teams. So Jahmyr Gibbs off a hamstring doesn't look like he would be limited or held back. So you got to go Jahmyr Gibbs, my mistake. Jahmyr Gibbs. You got to go Jahmyr Gibbs in this game against the Ravens, whose defense, again, has been banged up this year. And I'll use that term again, good, not great. And Jared Goff's having a heck of a season. You're really being able to work things in. Amon-Ra St. Brown, of course, right? So if you're on the fence of Jahmyr Gibbs, don't be. You got to play him. For the Ravens, it's Zay Flowers, no running backs, and Lamar Jackson, and Mark Andrews. you got the usual 3. Zay Flowers has really been pulling away. I like that. What he's in PPR only, what he's been able to do. It's at home. Really hoping for us Browns fans that the Lions can pull it out and keep the Ravens in check. Because if the Browns win that, then they're right there with the Ravens at the top of the AFC North. So those are the 3 there. Play Jared Goff too. 11 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Very quietly having a great year. Very quietly having a great year. Mentioned the Steelers and Rams with Kyron Williams out. Rams still play Puka. Been getting some Puka questions. Puka play. Tutu don't. Cooper Kupp, obviously. Stafford, try to stay away if you can. He's not putting up fantasy numbers this year. We know with Stafford, he can't move, so he's doing 300-something passing yards and 3 touchdowns, no picks, or it's not a great day. So that's it for the Rams. No running back. Steelers, no Kenny Pickett. Deontay Johnson coming back. Yeah. I suppose I'm not too interested in Deontay Johnson or anybody else outside of Jalen Warren, really. That's a pretty light day for me when it comes to the Steelers. It doesn't look like we're going to get shows audio working. Hopefully we can, but if not, we'll catch up with show next week. In the meantime, let's get to some questions. Let's bring up hashtag Ask Andy. Let's do it. Let's go. And we'll go. This is from Derek Shaw on Instagram. Do I start Gibbs in Detroit or Mason in San Francisco? Bye week for Henry this week. Yeah, Titans, one of the 6 teams on bye. Here's the thing. The problem is we don't know Christian McCaffrey's health status, and they play Monday night, right? They're playing Monday Night Football at the Vikings. So if you gamble and you're like, okay, I'll play Jordan Mason, and McCaffrey goes, Mason's useless. Now, McCaffrey sits. I love Jordan Mason. I like him better than Elijah Mitchell. Too risky. That's why you go with Jahmyr Gibbs. Like I said before, he's been touted. He's been lit up by Dan Campbell saying he's going to get a full workload. Out of the 2, definitely the safer option. And hopefully we start to see a bit of a return on that fantasy investment we made out of Jahmyr Gibbs. Let's pull up another one. Hashtag Ask Andy. You can get your questions in below or on Twitter at AndyMC81 at SickPodBrowns. From Benoit. For my flex spot, Gabe Davis or Deontay Johnson, hashtag Ask Andy. Yeah, Deontay Johnson coming back. Like, we can't pick it if for PPR. Like, he might dink and dunk and get you a few points. It could be. I'd like to see a game back with Deontay Johnson first before I try dropping him in. You're so limited with Kenny Pickett. You just are. That's not Brown's bias. That's just fact. Kenny Pickett's not good. Steelers defense is good. Like Jalen Warren back there is a flex. Deontay Johnson, no. Gabe Davis, yes. Gabe Davis is really, and I almost think quietly off of the super hype that he had last year. Remember how high Gabe Davis was coming in because of the 4-touchdown playoff game and all that. And he flatlined a bit. Too much of a roller coaster. This year's been working much more off and much more consistently. So for me, Gabe Davis absolutely is the way we're going with this. Okay, let's bring up a couple of the chat questions here, if we may. I'm just going to check on Twitter as well here. Let's see. There we go. There we go. We got Joseph Rossitano. Thanks for jumping in, Joseph. Need help with starting running backs to start this week in full PPR. White, Ford, or Robinson Jr. Okay. Jerome Ford. Yes, we're playing him this week. Kareem Hunt is going to be a game time decision. So if he does go, it's not going to be that great because of that hip injury. So he's going to be limited. If he doesn't go, it's going to be Deion Jackson, who was brought up off the practice squad, and he's just going to be more change of pace. We've seen the connection in the limited time. Lastly, with Deshaun Watson in the Titans game at home that I was at, where Ford ran the ball pretty effectively later in the game and also caught a beautiful touchdown fade, little rainbow route from Deshaun Watson. So Jerome Ford, I think, is the play there. Secondly would be, I'm assuming it's Bijan Robinson. Bijan Robinson would probably be the next play for me, and then Rachaad White after that. Not a bad stable of options either way. I think you're in a pretty good spot there either way, but I would go Jerome Ford based on that we have the fact that Kareem Hunt's probably not going to play. Rick says in the chat, Brian Robinson maybe. Yeah, well, if it's against the Commanders, or for the Commanders, if it's against the Giants, I'd still probably put Ford up a little bit on him, but Robinson right there too. Could be Robinson. And Rick in the chat saying, Mitchell could get the ball more on Monday. Gibbs is no competition. That's right. The only reason I like Jordan Mason, and this is only if Christian McCaffrey doesn't play, which is why I recommend starting Gibbs and ideally a running back that plays Sunday rather than wait to that Monday, because if McCaffrey goes, even in a limited capacity, it's going to downgrade everyone. Let's say McCaffrey doesn't play for fun. I like Mason for more touches over Mitchell because he was way more explosive when given the opportunity over the last couple of weeks. Did score a touchdown, looked much more electric, had that burst, and got the opportunities more than Elijah Mitchell. Now, you could very well fall into a full-blown committee. We know Shanahan loves to do that. But also without Deebo Samuel, no Samuel for sure, and if McCaffrey's out, you're going to be getting some chances from the running back. Let's bring up our guy Thunderwolf. Rick had a question earlier, I believe. Rashee Rice versus LA or Romeo Doubs versus Denver. Flex spot PPR. Ooh, I want to be in more on Rashee Rice. I do. And I think like long term, okay, if we're talking dynasty wise, I think Rice is eventually going to grow into the top receiver, not named Travis Kelce on that Chiefs team. However, until that, I'm a little hesitant. Here's why. We're not seeing a lot of targets, okay? His targets on the year so far, 5.2, 7.5, 5.4. Pretty stable. Receptions, 3.2, 5.3, 4.4. So the volume target-wise isn't there. If he's getting thrown the ball, he's catching it. Last week in full PPR just hit double digits at 11.2, 4 catches for 72 yards. Week before, 4 catches, just 33 yards, but did have a touchdown in the win over Minnesota. So we're looking at the Chargers. We know the Chargers play the Chiefs tough, but they always give it away. We have to look at what the numbers are telling us, and the numbers are telling us he's probably going to get about 4 catches. And if he doesn't get a touchdown, well, then we're going to be in that low double digit and the yardage too, right? That's the other thing. We got the yardage situation to consider because he's not getting a lot of those opportunities, right? Spreading the ball around. You got Hardman back. Who cares? Hardman doesn't excite me. And then you look at Doubs. He's really been boom or bust. 3 weeks, weeks 1, 3, and 4, over 18 fantasy points and 3 touchdowns. 2 of those came in the first game against Chicago. But 2 games, 5 and 1.4. The last game they played before the bye. You're playing Denver, and it's a complete train wreck. So it really depends. I think Doubs gives you more boom or bust, and Rice is a little safer. I'd probably pick Rice if you want to be more conservative. If you're comfortable, if let's say the rest of your team, you're like, okay, you know what, I can afford to be a little riskier, Doubs definitely gives you the highest ceiling. Let's see. Oh, we got Trent there. Let's bring up Trent's question in the chat. Jump on in. Good morning. Good morning, Trent. Half PPR, need to pick 2. Keenan Allen versus KC, Puka versus Pitts, Lockett versus Arizona, Devonta Smith versus Miami. So looks like DK Metcalf is doubtful to play today for Seattle. Hip and ribs. Could play, but doubtful. If we're picking 2, Keenan Allen for sure. He's been an absolute study. Turn back the clock. Keenan Allen, fantastic. Keenan Allen for sure. Puka has dipped last week significantly with Cooper Kupp. Right? I'm not ready to write him off yet. Devonta Smith has been really disappointing. And Julio Jones has been activated from the practice squad. I don't think Julio is going to make a big impact. I just don't at this stage in his career, especially first team in. But if he's going to take away targets from someone, it very well could be Devonta Smith. Very well could be. So if we're looking at DK Metcalf, possibly, likely, either not playing or being severely limited, Tyler Lockett would be my pick, my second pick. So go with Allen and Lockett. I just want to make sure, because I know Lockett was banged up. Let's just make sure there's nothing injury-wise. No, he's clear. Lockett's certainly not wowed anybody. Just 2 games in double-digit fantasy points, included the last one against San Francisco, though. Arizona, yeah. I'd say Lockett. I do like Puka, but that Pittsburgh defense, Not great. Yeah. So, Trent, that's where I would go. Keenan Allen, and I would go Lockett. I hope Puka does go well. I do have Puka on one of my teams there. Okay, we got to dump out early to that 10:45. So about 10 more minutes left. So if you got questions, get them in. Otherwise, let's continue through. I want to hear if you guys making any bets today. Give me some parlays. I want to get nuts today. Okay, let's get nuts. Okay, you got any Browns parlays? Browns Colts? You got anything that is a little dangerous, a little wacky that you're putting out there in the betting world? Hit me up with those. Otherwise, let's keep rolling through. We left off with Steelers, Rams, Cardinals, Seahawks. We have. Boy, man, you look at the Cardinals. DeMarcado, we picked up off of waivers. Nothing. You got Ingram. I guess you go with Ingram at running back. Oof. Hollywood Brown, fine. Seattle's 8.5-point favorites at home. I think I'd take those points. Josh Dobbs, nice job trying to fill in, but you've got figured out. You're back up for a reason. Kyler Murray, his window's been activated to return. So if he's sitting out there, it might be worth a speculative add and bench just in case if someone let go of Kyler Murray. I'm not expecting anything out of him this year. Seattle, we just talked about. Very dicey to play DK Metcalf. Zach Charbonnet is out today, it looks like, or will be limited. So just keep that in mind. Geno Smith's been fine fantasy-wise. I think the main interest to me is Tyler Lockett and probably Jackson Smith and Jigba. Right? If DK's out, he should be getting that uptick. Let's go Broncos, Packers. Boy, on paper, it should have been a lot more interesting, right? Jordan Love flying high. He's come back down to earth a bit. Broncos, a total train wreck. Big game for the Packers. Packers just a 1-point favorite. We talked about Romeo Doubs. Christian Watson's there. Aaron Jones, questionable. So, keep that in mind when you're thinking about the running backs. For the Broncos, let's check Javonte Williams' status here. Let's see where we're at. Okay. That injury designation is gone. So Jaleel McLaughlin, we're going to park. It looks like it's going to probably be a committee, so he still should get some work. But Javonte Williams is probably the guy to go with coming off his slate of injuries. Got worked in a bit last week. Had 10 carries, right? But otherwise, Courtland Sutton's actually been sneaky good this year. I have liked Courtland Sutton. I have him on a couple of my teams. And against the Packers, he's been double digits every week except for one. And 4 touchdowns. For a team that's 1-5 with how bad they've played, that's pretty good. I feel comfortable playing Courtland Sutton here. I would. Trent with the thumbs up. There we go. Oh, Gibbs, we got Beast Mode 11. Let's bring up Beast Mode 11's question here. Oh, Gibbs or Mostert? Listen, man, Mostert's healthy. Ride with Mostert. What if that guy's defying all logic here? Yeah, Beast Mode 11. Got to go with Mostert, man. You got to go with Mostert. Eagles banged up. Yeah, some guys in, out, questionable. The defense. I'm very much looking forward to that Sunday night game. That's main event level. Even if the Eagles are missing some guys, that is main event TV. Julio Jones coming in. Mostert, Jeff Wilson should be activated. I have Wilson on one of my benches. I'm not comfortable playing him right now. If you're desperate with a buy, sure. But you go Mostert. Because Gibbs does still have that. He's coming right off that hamstring. So they might want the workload. But is he effective? Can they go to him all game? Right? Mostert, you can. And that Dolphins offense has been special. But Dolphins, Eagles, that's a real test. 2 5-1 teams. I'm very interested in that game. We talked Chargers, Chiefs. Yeah, like the running backs again. We get some Chiefs running back questions in every week. Same old thing. If you got to start one, do Pacheco, but don't be surprised if McKinnon or Clyde Edwards-Helaire vulture something, right? That's just kind of where we're at. I can't wait for that Eagles Dolphins game though. I think the usual suspects to light up with that. And then 49ers Vikings. We know Kirk Cousins. If you're betting on that game, You know he can't win primetime, and even though the 49ers will be without no Deebo Samuel, questionable Christian McCaffrey, that means extra workload for Brandon Ayuk. Keep an eye on that situation when it comes to the running backs. Again, if you can have an alternative to waiting, if you don't have a Jordan Mason or Elijah Mitchell, and you have Christian McCaffrey, if you don't have one of those two, start somebody else, just in case, right? Unless something before kickoff kind of jumps in and really says like, hey, McCaffrey's great. Just be careful on that one. But that should be a fun game too. Jordan Addison, nice job. Kind of in the low double digits, mid-teens type of feel. KJ Osborne, I still don't mind playing. TJ Hawkinson for sure. And Kirk Cousins, I think you feel comfortable playing. I wouldn't play Purdy. I feel very comfortable with Ayuk. Hopefully a game where Kittle gets more involved. Wouldn't that be nice for where you drafted him? All right, let's get to our danger zone picks. Let's get dangerous, folks. Let's go. Let's do it. And we'll get to yours as well. I'm just checking here. We got one in from Rick. All right, there we go. So is this your all on the under for Rick's parlay here? So Vegas, Chicago, Cleveland, Indy, Atlanta, Tampa Bay, Detroit, all on the under. I like that. Rick, I like that one, man. Danger zone. That's right. Danger zone, baby. Getting dangerous in here. All on the under. That's not. What would that pay off, Rick? If you have that handy, like whatever you put down on, what would be the winning ticket number on that? I'm going to share you mine. I like these in-game parlays from our buddies at DraftKings Sportsbook. Okay, remember, use code 6sports. 6sports. $5 bet gets you $200 for new users. $5 bet, $200 bonus. They got in-game. They got some special bets, special plays, special in-game parlays at DraftKings Sportsbook. So you can use 6sports as the code. And you get $200 bonus for a $5 bet. Come on. Official NFL betting sponsor, DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. It's mine. It's going to be yours. We'll see. Here, how about this? My Danger Zone dangerous picks. I got one, and then I got a cautious one. Okay? My Danger Zone pick is this. Same game parlay for Washington at the New York Giants. Remember, Giants, no Daniel Jones. Tyrod Taylor's in. Here's my same game parlay. Let me know what you think. Terry McLaurin. So all of these have to hit the payout. Terry McLaurin, over 58.5 receiving yards. He's done it twice this year and another time at 54. So it's doable. Bijan Robinson, over 61.5 rushing yards, has done it twice and had 56 once as well. Sam Howell, over 230.5 passing yards. He's done that 3 times this season. And Sam Howell, over 1.5 passing touchdowns. He's also done that 3 times this year. That pays plus 700. So all of them got to hit. But plus 700 for those. That's at DraftKings Sportsbook, same game parlay for Washington Giants. I think that makes a lot of sense because what I look for in these is something that pays well. Plus 700, it's a pretty sweet payday. But also, it's been done. It's not guessing. And not just once. It's been done more than once. And all the options I gave, done more than once this year against the Giants, who are a disaster. Now, my less dangerous zone, that one's dangerous, I think. Danger zone. My other one, Falcons at Buccaneers that I teased earlier. Baker Mayfield, over 220.5 passing yards. Has done it twice this season. Anytime Mike Evans touchdown, has 3 TDs, one in each of the first 3 weeks of the season. Mike Evans, we've seen before, could get 2 catches and make 2 of them touchdowns. And Tampa Bay money line. So Tampa Bay to win on the money line. Anytime Mike Evans touchdown, Bake Show, over 220.5 passing yards, plays plus 500. Plus 500 on that one. So those are my 2 danger zone picks. I like those a lot. What do you got? Rick, it says on Rick's pick on all the unders, $5 plays 67. Nice. That's sweet. Addison or Pickens at flex for beast mode. Beast mode 11, then we'll wrap things up. Beast mode, Addison. Got to go Addison. Don't trust Pickens with Kenny Pickett. I just don't. Addison with no Justin Jefferson. We've seen he's been producing consistently. Maybe not the spikes or the highs that we'd want from the rookie, but that is a much safer pick. Jordan Addison for sure, even if it is against what should be an angry San Francisco defense. We know Cousins can get you a lot of garbage points. So there you go. All right, kids, we're going to jump off here. Any fantasy football questions, any betting questions, get them in on Twitter at AndyMC81, at SickPodBrowns. Use hashtag AskAndy. Give us a follow. Give the show a follow. Notifications here We always like that. Give us a follow, subscribe as well, please. We like that. And on Instagram at Andy MC Sports, TikTok as well. There you go, guys. So Deshaun Watson back for the Browns. Let's see what happens there against the Colts. I have the Browns winning this one against a depleted Colts defense. I'm going to pick them 28 to, well, you know what? Let's say 28-13. I think a nice, solid Browns win. Let's make that happen. Go Browns. Good luck on your fantasy football team. I'm going to be off Tuesday. I'm having foot surgery, so I'm going to be day to day, but I'll be back for next Sunday show. So I'm in foot surgery Monday, so I'll be off Tuesday, but I'll be back on Sunday show. So thanks to all of you for jumping in. Good luck this week. And as always, go Browns.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast with Andy McNamara on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.